Hello, everyone, and welcome to Keeping Score with Dylan and Jack, a podcast show dedicated to bringing analysis of Rutgers sports and sports around the country. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Jack.
And today we'll talk about Rutgers football's homecoming matchup with Indiana, touch on the NFL, and talk about the New York Yankees who just vanquished the Cleveland Guardians. But first, obviously, Rutgers football in one of the most important matchups of the season, one of the most winnable Big Ten games, I would say, as they face a struggling Indiana team at home for homecoming this Saturday. And I mean, it's kind of more of the same what we've been seeing all season. The defense playing quite well. The offense just has not reached their potential yet. This is the first time all season we're seeing all three quarterbacks healthy. So Gavin Wimsatt, Noah Vedral, and Evan Simon all eligible to start this week. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. I have a few of my own, but love to hear what you guys have to think.
Winnable is a great word for it because it is winnable, but so is the last game, which they ended up losing. And I think this is a big game for a multitude of reasons. First off, we're going to see the offense under Nunzio Campanelli. Now, we kind of saw it, but he didn't really back in 2018, but he didn't really have that talent around him to necessarily show off his offensive play calling skills. So that's our first look at the play calling. First look at how they're going to use the quarterbacks. Sean Gleason used a very gimmicky 4-quarterback system when Wimsatt was out there, rotating between Langdon, Simon, Vedral, and Wimsatt. I doubt it's going to be exactly like that. I'm sure there's going to be still multiple quarterback packages. But more importantly, I think it's a big morale game, right? For the fans, especially the players. 21 home games lost in the Big Ten. That is that's extremely bad.
It's a conference record.
They've actually been pretty good away, which is kind of funny, but it's really bad. It makes the fans demoralized because most fans, right, you got the big Rutgers football fans, but also you got a lot of people that just like to go to the home games. And when your team is constantly losing, you just think the team's bad. You don't see any progress. The amount of times I heard, after the Nebraska loss, same old Rutgers, and it was a horrible loss, but they're so much better than the last 2 years, So, but they need a home win, and this is their most winnable game of the next, 6. So they don't win this one, you're gonna be faced with a potential 26-game home losing streak, which is quite bad. And it's a bit of a trap game because this Indiana team, they've had a horrible record so far this year, but they hung with Michigan for 3 quarters. Last week they lost by 4, I believe. So they've played good teams and they've hung around. They haven't been able to win, but we'll see. I think a lot of it depends on this new offensive system.
By the way, Ellis Gordon, correspondent for us, men's soccer beat writer. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I do agree with a lot of the points that you made, Ellis. One thing I'll say is that I don't think Rutgers football has gone to the level where they have a trap game. I think every game is something that they need to win. And that's no shot at what Rutgers football is doing. It's just the fact of the matter. They're 0-3 in the Big Ten right now, and I think that they have to win every game that they possibly can. I think this game with Indiana is a perfect example. I think this is, as you said, Ellis, a great opportunity to break that Big Ten losing streak that has become so famous in Rutgers circles. So it's going to be really interesting to see the new quarterback room, as you know, with all the guys getting healthy finally. That's a big plus. Greg Schiano definitely is happy about that. New blood of Nunzio Campanelli at offensive coordinator. We'll see what he can do. As Greg Schiano says, he's on the 7-week interview basically for the job. So, we got to throw everything out there. I mean, this is a game. I think we can all say that the bowl aspirations are gone for Rutgers, I think, unless barring a miraculous turnaround similar to what happened last season with men's basketball, which the football team hasn't really gained that type of cachet anyway to pull off something like that. Unless something even crazier than what happened last season with men's basketball happens, you can kind of kiss the bowl aspirations goodbye. So I think at this point, it's really just about proving your worth as a program, proving who you want to be as a program, and improving just day in and day out, game in and game out. And I think, as Dylan knows from the very beginning on this podcast so far this semester, I've really said that you need to bring in Gavin Wimsatt and really develop him. And if Gavin Wimsatt's healthy enough to play, he's your guy to start, and none of this 3-quarterback bonanza sort of thing. We need stability at the position and get Gavin Wimsatt in and improve.
Yeah, I was writing my 3 Keys article, which I write every week, which you'll be able to see on dailytargum.com by the time this goes up. Of course, self-plug. But, one of my first point this week was development versus results. Kind of are you trying to make a bowl game this year, or are you trying to develop your team for the future? I think if you're trying to make a bowl game this year, Noah Vedral is the starter if he's healthy enough. If he can throw, he has the most experience, he has the most credentials, he probably has the most, football IQ, I would say, and I think he should be the starter. But, I also think that Rutgers is kind of, they're a bubble team on the way out. If you're talking in basketball terms, they're probably not going to make a bowl game. I think 5-7 is where they realistically land. And I think at that point you have to start thinking about the future, and the future of this team is Gavin Wimsatt.
I think 5-7 is being kind because they're sitting at 3 wins right now. And look, let's just say best case scenario, they beat Indiana this week. After that, they play at Minnesota, which is a very tough team. I think they lost their quarterback, I want to say.
Yeah, Tanner Morgan.
But
and
still a tough
lost
game.
their QB.
Still a tough
their
game.
QB.
Then you got Michigan at home.
Lost.
And then you got at Michigan State.
The Michigan State's pretty awful this year.
At Michigan State, though. You got to recognize that.
Beat them in 2020 at Michigan State.
It's fair.
Look, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And then home versus Penn State.
I wish we'd win that game, but
we might be tearing down our own goalposts if we win that game.
Yeah.
But and then we finish with Maryland. I mean, the situation is not in our advantage. And look, things can happen. It's sports. Crazy things happen in sports all the time. We know that. But just looking at it right now on Tuesday, October 18th at 8:10 p.m. exactly. It's
really dating this podcast.
Really dating the podcast. By the way, me and Ellis are really go to ham with these predictions. I can't wait to see the prediction next week.
Oh yeah,
it's so great. But
McTavish hits one off the left post, off the right post, off the goal, off the crossbar, and then it goes in.
I'm gonna get.
That's how they win.
I love how specific we get. But anyway, anything can happen, and we'll see how the rest of the season turns out. But I know one thing: me and Ellis are going to be like Nostradamus in these predictions.
Yeah, for sure.
I know it already.
No, but I mean, like we were talking about results of development. I think that this week, if he's healthy enough, you got to just start going with Gavin Wimsatt.
Yeah.
The only way he's going to learn is trial by fire.
If
he's going to do it on the job. He's going to figure it out. And
that's why you have him here.
It's not even about learning, because from what I saw from the little Vedral played compared to Wimsatt, there's no doubt Vedral was a better thrower. What I saw from Wimsatt for the first 2 games, he has a great arm, but he over peppers it sometimes. He also makes poor decision making.
Yeah.
But forget all about that for a second. When he's on the field, the reason why they ran it down Boston College's throat was because they always had to have a spy on Gavin Wimsatt on the RPO, because he can take off for 50 yards. Vedral, Simon, I guess Langan can too. But they can't take off for 50 yards for that speed. He adds another dimension for the defense to worry about. Which brings me to a second point, is that this is a great test for the Knights, because Indiana, right, we've talked about how they've held close with a lot of these teams. That's mostly been on the offensive side of the ball. Indiana's offensive side of the ball, I would say, is a little underrated. They've got a good running back, and a pretty good receiver, and they're pretty good on the offensive side of the ball. Not great, but okay. The defense has been horrible, very poor, and this is a Rutgers team that's very the opposite. This defense is very good for Rutgers. I think really their only weakness is their middle of the field. Sometimes they leave exposed, but overall, this is a bowl-ready defense. And I think they could do a good job shutting down Indiana. But what can this offense do against a weak defense? Because I would probably say this is the weakest defense you're going to play this in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
This season.
I'd have to agree.
And this is when in the Big Ten where you get very few easy defenses, especially in the Big Ten because of how defensive oriented it is. You got to take advantage of that, and you got to see what you got with Gavin Wimsatt, especially as you mentioned. So. A big test for Rutgers, a big test for Rutgers fans who want to see them win. That's the thing. They really want to see a win. I'll be calling the game, so hopefully I'll call a win too. So I don't know.
WRSU Sports 88.7 FM.
I'm gonna plug myself now.
Hey, look, we support our guys at WRSU. We're all WRSU people too.
True.
So you got to
former assistant sports director over here, but we always go predictions on this podcast, so. I guess I'll throw mine out there first.
You're looking at 2 people that love predictions right now.
Yeah. Oh, I know. You love to play the lottery with your predictions, but I picked a Rutgers win over Nebraska, and I think if all things went as they should have went, I think Rutgers should have won that game. This is another game where I do think Rutgers should be favored. I think they're 2.5.
They are. I think that's
in terms of where Vegas puts them, but. I think Rutgers has enough on offense. They should run the ball down Indiana's throats. Samuel Brown should get the ball 25 times, and I will not, he is the feature running back in the backfield, whether they realize it or not. So I think he should get the ball 25 times. I think the quarterback should play a very measured game manager type of game. But I think the running offense should really give Indiana a hard time, and I don't think their offense, their offense is good, but I don't think they have enough to deal with the Rutgers defense. So give me 28-17 Rutgers.
All right. I have a feeling this is going to be like a high-scoring game for some reason. That's what the crystal ball is telling me.
52-49. We tear down the goalpost, throw them into the Raritan River.
No. So I need to clarify.
That game was incredible.
Rutgers high-scoring game. So high-scoring game for Rutgers. Okay. So I'll put this 24-20. Indiana has the ball. 4th and goal at the 1. They QB sneak it for the win, and it'll end it there. And it's all up to Rutgers to stop them. I'll end the story there. No, I'm kidding. I'll have Rutgers winning, though. Really hasn't worked out for me this year. Rutgers stuff the QB or the running back if the running back takes in a wild. Actually, let's go. Running back takes in a wildcat. 4th and goal from the 1. He needs to punch it in. And we'll go, who's been... Oh, I'm blanking. The defensive lineman has been really good for Rutgers.
Aaron Lewis, Wesley Bailey.
Lewis.
All of them.
No, they didn't really good, but Aaron Lewis is the one I was thinking of. Aaron Lewis creates pressure and throws the offensive lineman into the running back. Stuffed. Rutgers wins.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
None of these have come true so far, but one of them will eventually. Potentially.
It's like a plus 9,000 odds, betting on them to win 4th and 1.
I have betted on Rutgers to win. Not betted. I picked Rutgers to win in all of these predictions, and I've been wrong every single time. That said, I'm going with Rutgers in this game. And I think really for everything we've said so far in this podcast, I think the Indiana defense is not as good as maybe the defenses we've played in the past. And I think, time is due. And the time is now. We have not won – think about this. We have not won a Big Ten home football game since 2017. That means you, and myself were not on campus, and anyone else out there at Rutgers right now was not on campus the last time.
I have been here for 5 years, and I have not seen a Rutgers home football win in the Big Ten. Come on, guys.
Literally, the blackout.
Come on.
Well, and that's what I'll say. I think you got to give some credit. I feel sometimes they're like, oh, the fans are so, negative. But you got to give some credit to the fans who show out a decent amount considering they haven't seen a win in the last 5 years in the Big Ten.
Listen, there are loyal fans, but like sports, much everything else in life is a what have you done for me lately business.
Yeah, and it's 5 years where we've done
Rutgers has not done anything in the Big Ten for me lately, unfortunately.
Look,
we'll still go out there, we'll still support them, but it gets tougher and tougher every week.
The blackout game was the first close game I ever saw in that stadium. So
it's the first game I stayed the whole time.
Yeah, so I'm going to go. Let's see. It's going to be 27. No, that's way too high.
I give him 28.
I'm going to say 20-16 Rutgers.
Ooh.
And here's what's going to happen. So Indiana is going to score their points by virtue of 1 touchdown and 3 field goals to get the 16. And similar to what you said, it's going to be 20-16. Indiana's going to have 1 last shot, and they're going to be driving down the field. And specifically at the 35-yard line, with approximately 37 seconds left, the Indiana. I can't believe I don't know this. Who's the Indiana quarterback?
Connor Bazelak, I believe his name is.
You have a computer, but yeah,
I'll check it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's Connor Bazelak.
Yeah. Okay, Connor Bazelak is going to drop back to pass. And he's going to be picked off by Max Melton. Max Melton will have the chance to take it to the house, but he's going to slide down. Indiana's going to have no timeouts. We knee it out. We win 20-16. Book it. You heard it right here. That's what's going to happen.
It doesn't really matter who the quarterback is because he's still getting picked off.
He's getting picked off by Max Melton. And it's going to be one of those picks where Max Melton, it was just a bad read. It was a miscommunication. It's not like a jump ball. Max Melton is just going to be there, and he's going to pick it.
Kind of like when Evan Simon can't read the linebacker.
Yes.
Right, yes.
Can confirm the quarterback is Connor Bazelak.
It's going to be one of those where Max Melton just didn't see him coming. Max Melton almost picked 6, but... So that's what I got.
High aspirations for Rutgers this week. We'll see if they're dashed like usual or if they can get the win. But We'll move on. We'll talk about the NFL. We're all, I believe we're all, Ellis, you're an NFC East fan, correct? You're
I think
Giants
this is
fan?
going to be a pretty quick NFL.
Huge.
NFL
I mean, yeah,
talk.
it is going to be pretty quick, Jack, because after 6 weeks, the Giants are better than the Cowboys. How does that feel? I just want to ask you, from a personal level, how does that feel that a Daniel Jones quarterback team is better than you after 6 weeks?
Honestly, feels a lot better than the Eagles beating us on Sunday.
Oh, that was atrocious.
That was atrocious. I mean, look.
That game was over 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
Nah, they made a little comeback.
It was over. It was over by halftime. That game was over.
What, the Cowboys game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was over.
That was a. I wouldn't say it was over. It was 20-0, but we still almost made it a game. Like it was 20-17 at one point.
Oh, that's fair, but I mean, just the way in the first half that Dallas looked, it didn't look like they were going to do a lick the whole entire game.
Well, look, I hope that puts to bed the talk about Cooper Rush being better than Dak Prescott, because that was absolutely ludicrous on many people. Real people with real lives out there and real jobs and real families were saying that Cooper Rush is better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Absurd.
I agree that's absurd, but what I wouldn't say is absurd is that Brian Dable is quickly becoming the coach of the year, and no one can argue it. I mean, he took a team that was, won 4 games last year, and they're 5-1 this year through 6 weeks. Wink Martindale has been a revolution with half of the defense injured. He blitzes everyone, and it somehow works out. And obviously luck. I mean, Lamar Jackson fumbling a snap and then throwing an interception into the middle
Titans
of nowhere.
missing a field goal at the end of the game.
All right, Justin Tucker missing a field goal, which is unheard of. But I mean, this team has come back from 3 double-digit deficits in the second half this year. Like, they're clearly not just a team that is kind of skating by. They're a team that is, dominating. They're a team that schemes well. They're a team that's finding out how to use Daniel Jones. He has a lower interception per attempt rate this year than Josh Allen, than Aaron Rodgers, than Patrick Mahomes. He is really coming into his own. I don't know if that means he's going to get another contract. He's going to be franchise tagged. But this Giants team is really coming from a team where I'm excited for where they win one game to a team where I really think they can, if they stay hot. And we've seen a lot of other teams underperform this year. I really do think that they're in prime position to be a playoff team this year.
I agree, but as a Giants fan, I don't think they're close to the Eagles. I really don't.
I don't think a lot of people are close to the Eagles.
No, yeah, maybe I'm saying...
They're very complete. They are a very complete football team.
The Giants still have holes. I think the Brian Dable comment was incredible because he completely turned this team around and the culture around from Joe Judge, but I'm still not sold on Daniel Jones. Brian Dable is making his life easy, and that's why you gotta love Brian Dable.
You gotta remember Mike Kafka too, who was the QB's coach at Buffalo.
Yeah, Daniel Jones has no wide receivers right now.
Yeah,
he's throwing out David Sills there and throwing passes to him.
Daniel Bellinger is like our leading receiver.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've seen some Giants fans be like, "Oh, Daniel Jones is finally breaking out." Look, he's breaking out for sure a little bit, but I don't know if he's the solution. That said, I do think they have enough grit in them. Like, you're right with luck, and we've gotten very lucky, and there's no doubt. But a lot of times in the NFL, a lot of teams get lucky. It's about what you do with that luck and how you convert it. I think the number one person out this is Tom Brady. A lot of people complain about Tom Brady. Oh, this, that. He's super lucky. I'm one of those people. I hate Tom Brady. I mean, I respect him, but I just hate him because he's so good. But what you gotta respect about Tom Brady is the fact that, yeah, you can say he got super lucky, but he always converted on that luck. And a lot of teams don't. And that's what the Giants are doing right now, so you got to love the coaching staff moving forward. So it's like, at least even if they do collapse a little bit and don't make the playoffs, we have a very solid foundation, which we haven't had since really
2014.
Oh yeah, 2014. It's been almost 10 years. And that's how you build teams, with solid foundation. So you got to like where the Giants are going in terms of, and I do think there's a pretty good chance they make the playoffs. They have an easier schedule. And yeah, I really like the way this Giants team is looking out.
I will say this real quick. I unfortunately have to leave this podcast just a bit early to tend to some school matters, but meeting a midterm, unfortunately. It is midterm season,
midterm
people.
Midterm at 8:30 on Tuesday. Pick your classes better, kid. Pick your classes better.
Oh, you actually have midterm?
I don't have to. It's like due tomorrow, but
yeah.
I want to do it tonight. But
understood.
Anyway, the NFC East, or as Dylan and I called it, the NFC Beast, in that semi-viral clip
everyone
on
except
Instagram.
the Commanders.
Everyone loved it, but it's really turning into one of the best divisions in the league right now. I mean, the Cowboys are 4-2 and are in third place. I think really the numbers speak for themselves per se, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this division plays out, because the Giants, yes, they're 5-1. We'll see how some of these close games go in the other way. We'll see if some of these one-score wins turn into non-one-score wins.
I don't think so.
We'll see. Maybe they get even better. And the Eagles, the Eagles look really good on Sunday night. I think their offense is really good. But what happens if Dak Prescott comes back in that game? And of course the Cowboys, they're getting Dak back, so should be
Jack,
should be cool.
I do have to give you a compliment, because a lot of people on social media get made fun of for being Lakers and Cowboys. And yeah, are you a Yankees fan, or you don't care?
If I had to pick,
I think by proxy he's the Yankees fan.
By proxy.
Yeah. Anyway,
because of me. Let's go Yankees.
But you're the most respectful one I've ever met.
Yeah.
There's no.
First of all, I'm a LeBron fan.
Respectful front runner.
I'm a LeBron fan, so get that straight. Right now I'm bad. Right now I'm a Laker fan just because of LeBron. I'm not afraid to say it too. I love LeBron James. So, with that said, I'll leave it to these two lovely gentlemen who definitely have a lot to say about the game that ended about an hour or so ago. So.
Yes.
Have a good night, everyone.
Jack, we appreciate your time. And we have a couple minutes left. And obviously, we're going to talk about the New York Yankees. I wore my jersey today. They look great today.
What's on your back?
Number 25. The name is on the back, so I don't want to show it. But it is a Torres jersey. I asked them not to put the name on the jersey specifically, but they still did. But great win today, 5-1. Aaron Saval had a tough time pitching. Gave up a home run to Stanton. Judge hit a home run. From there, the bullpen shut it down. Nestor went 5 innings, which I don't really know if anyone thought he would.
Untouchable, except for that one inning where he really could have gone out of it if not for a miscommunication.
Yeah, and the Yankees, ultimately they're where everyone thought they'd be. They're in the ALCS. They're playing Houston. They're going to fly out tonight. They play game 1 tomorrow. Looks like Tyon's going to be on the mound. But, what do you take away from this W?
Gritty win. It didn't always go for them. Game 3 they really should have had. Game 2 I was supposed to go to it. I couldn't because then I had media day. Got rescheduled for Rutgers basketball media day. Of course. So, but it's not about me. But the point is that it went from a night game to a day game, and then they had to fly out to Cleveland the next day. So both teams dealt with a lot of adversity. So, but Garrett Cole, ace, and by the way, everyone's saying he's going to fold against the Astros. You should look at his numbers against the Astros. He's the best pitcher. He's pitched. The team he pitches best against are the Astros.
Did you see him in the bullpen today?
Yeah,
pitching 110 pitches 2 days ago.
Yeah. He's a cornball, but I love him regardless. He's a dog.
He's ridiculous.
No, yeah, and yeah, it was a great win, right? I'm very worried about the Astros. If you're gonna ask my opinion, I don't think we could beat them. But hey, once you're there, anything could happen, and it does feel like a little bit like 2017, where the team has something a little different. And not even in the intangibles, right? Because, their bullpen's a little weaker. Their offensive line is a bit top. Their offensive line, wow. Their offense is a bit top-heavy. But it just feels like they found ways to win this year, excluding that horrible August. So, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch. Now, Tyon versus Verlander, you can't get more of a mismatch than that.
Yeah, that's a bit tough.
But Verlander got rocked. One game
he got rocked against Seattle.
And Yankees have done well for the most part against Verlander. They actually struggle way more against all the other Astros pitchers. But I'm a little nervous because I think the Astros have a better lineup than them. The Astros obviously have the best.
Yeah.
The Astros obviously have the best bullpen. And the Yankees bullpen used to be the best, but now it's been shaky. Wandy Peralta putting in a shift. By the way, I was always a Wandy fan. You guys, people were hating on him way too much.
All 5 games of the series,
and then
was really shut down for all.
And Clay Holmes is a little back, but the rest is a bit weaker. And the Astros really don't have any easy outs, which is a bit scary. But again, 7-game series, anything can happen. You just got to get there. Because if the Phillies can beat the Dodgers, the Phillies can beat the Braves, and the Padres can beat the Dodgers, then the Yankees can beat the Astros because they're, the talent discrepancy is much less than that. So I'm excited to watch as a fan. Tempered expectations because I just think this Astros team is better.
Well, we'll close this out by me saying, start spreading the news. Yanks are back, but
Josh Naylor rocked that baby all the way back to Cleveland.
You can watch on TV, as Gleyber Torres said. And that's all for today. Join us next time on Keeping Score for more sports recaps, and make sure to follow the Daily Targum on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for more content.